Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I'm gonna explain the temperature management system in GAGGIA Classic espresso machines. This particular model is from 2012, but these are exactly the same from 1991 to 2014, and it is also exactly the same in the latest GAGGIA Classic Pro model from 2018. What you have in the machine, you have a nice brass brew group head, and you have an aluminium boiler on top, and there is a mechanical thermostat. It's a bimetallic temperature switch. Just prepared one here, and this is responsible to turn the heating on and off to get the desired temperature. This actual one is the brew temperature thermostat. It does say in 107-8 Celsius degrees. What that means, when you turn your machine on, it will heat up until the boiler reaches 107 Celsius degrees, and then it turns the elements off. It starts to cool down. Once it dropped below 107-8, once it dropped below 99 Celsius degrees, it's gonna turn the heating back on again. So you're gonna have this fluctuation in the temperature of the brew water. There is one more thing worth to mention. You see, this is where the brew thermostat located, and obviously your water comes out there. Sorry for the used components, I don't have new one and clean ones at hand. So there is water coming through the solenoid valve that's supposed to be there, and also the group head. It will cool down a bit, so the actual temperature of the thermostat is higher than your water coming out of the brew head. So there is an average of 8 Celsius degrees offset. So when this one is tuned for 107, that means your brew water out of the group head gonna be 99, and the bottom limit of this one is 99. So taking off the 8 Celsius degrees offset, it's gonna result in 91 Celsius degrees water out of the group head. Well, on my machine I don't have any mechanical thermostats in it, but I do have a PID installed, and today I'm gonna set the PID up to simulate the mechanical thermostat, and doing so will allow us to track the actual temperature changes of the boiler, and we can see what really happens in a machine which has no PID installed. So if you buy a new one, a GAGGIA Classic Pro out of the box, that's gonna work identical what we're gonna see now. Let me turn the machine on. I previously used it, so it's not on at room temperature. Let's just quickly show you what I did setting wise. So we're gonna go to PSB. This is your temperature offset. It shows -8 degrees. That means whatever the RTD sensor sees temperature, it has an offset value to the PID algorithm and also to the actual PID, -8 degrees. So with this one I already compensated for this offset, meaning whatever we see on the screen, that is the actual temperature of the water coming out of the group head. So what I did in order to simulate the mechanical thermostat is I turned the bottom limit of the alarm function to 91, because if you add your 8 Celsius degrees offset, that's going to be 99, and that's the bottom limit of the mechanical thermostat. And the top limit 99 Celsius degrees. So if you if you add your 8 Celsius degrees offset, you have 107 there. So now the alarm function gonna work exactly as a non-PID'd stock model. You have two indicators here, one on the right that's also saying AL, that's for the alarm function. That's what we use in now. I just switched the function switched to steam mode because that's how it's been hooked in. So now whenever you see that indicator lit up, that means your boiler is heating. Whenever that goes off, that means it's in cooling down cycle. It is exactly the same how your indicator light works on your pre-2015 models, and I believe it's exactly the same on the new ones. So now we are in cool down cycle. On the left, that's an indicator light for the PID, so the algorithm controlled heating, but don't bother with that now because we're not using that function at this moment. Yes, it's just gone below 91, so it starts to heat up. It heats up really quick when it's running the element continuously. There is a bit of overshoot. I'm gonna leave it as it is to stand for about 15 minutes to let all the components heat up to get a nice and uniform, even temperature of all the components, like portafilter, group head, and the boiler, steam valve, and all the other stuff, all the valves, the solenoid valve, overpressure valve. So I'm gonna leave it for 15 minutes and come back then. So 15 minutes gone, all components heated up nicely, they have a nice even hot temperature, so we're ready to make a coffee now. Couple more things to discuss. One of them is the importance of consistent temperature when you pull in a shot. I'm not gonna go into that in details because I believe there are brilliant content out there from experts who knows much more than me, so you good to do your own research on that. But it is important to get a consistent brew temperature for sure. The other thing what is important to highlight is your actual pull, because what happens when you start the brew switch and you activate the pump, it's gonna push cold water into your tiny 80 milliliter boiler. That cold water going to build up pressure there, and that's gonna push out the hot water through your coffee pack. But as the cold water gets into your boiler, it will cool it down drastically. And that's what we really want to avoid. So the actual cooling effect of the incoming cold water will depend on your flow rate. So if you make a double Americano or a double lungo with a lot of fluid going through your ground coffee, that's gonna need much more water, much more cold water entering your boiler. At the same, while others like me, I drink double ristrettos. I have 17 grams of ground coffee, and I push through around 25 grams of water in about 35 seconds, 40 seconds. So mine is a bit special, but I have a really slow flow rate. So in my case, there is only a small amount of cold water going into the boiler. So the cooling effect is much less significant as if you would do a double lungo, for example. So that's important. You really need to do your own experiments on your own brew method. We are now in a cool down session cycle. Excuse me. I'm gonna prepare my coffee book, if I can remove this. Also, for the time being, let me explain what I realized when I started to play with this simulation. It is crucial when you starting up your pump, when you starting your brew, because if your boiler is in a cool down cycle, if your boiler is in a cool down cycle and you start your pump, you start pushing cold water, you're gonna make it cool even quicker. It will start up, it will start the heating up eventually, but it will probably not be able to catch up to heat up all the cold water entering the boiler. On the other end, when you start in your brew, when it's heating up, that's good, because it's not likely for the boiler to reach the top limit temperature again due to the incoming cold water. So I think it's much better to start your shot whenever the boiler is heating. Obviously, if you start your shot, it will cool the boiler down anyway, but you will probably lose a second or two, and that's gonna cause a bigger drop in your temperature. Again, can't talk and prepare my coffee at the same time. So let me flush it. Yes. Make sure you're flushing your machine before you pour your shot to get rid of overheated water in the solenoid valve and in the group head. I also use this water to preheat my cup. So we are at 95. I will try to start the shot when it starts to heat up. So 90, yeah, I have 2 more Celsius degrees to cool down. There we are. And the scale. So it started to heat. The pre-infusion. And that's it. 17 grams in, 26 grams out. Pretty much as I wanted. So let's discuss what happened. So what we have seen on idle, when the machine was heating up, at the final stage of the heating up, we've seen temperatures reaching 113 Celsius degrees. So there was an overshot of 14 Celsius degrees from the set 99 Celsius top limit. Nothing to do with it really, it's just interesting to know what temperature does it reach in. Even when it stops heating the heating element, the temperature keeps rising until 113. That was interesting. So in the pool, obviously if you do pre-infusion, that's gonna make things more interesting, because you only have a limited time frame when the boiler starts to heat up, because it heats up quite quickly. It only takes 20 odd seconds to heat up on idle. Obviously it's a bit more if there is some fresh cold water in there, and because you're doing pre-infusion, you're probably gonna, even if you start your shot whenever the boiler starts to heat up, what happened here with the actual pool, we fall into the cooling down cycle, and that makes a really wide temperature window within the shot, because we started from 91 Celsius degrees and it climbed up to 108.34. This is really high, and remember, this is the actual temperature of the water hitting your coffee puck, and that is really high temperature. And then by the end of the shot, it did fall back to 90, no, it wasn't even 90, 89.3. So there was 19 Celsius degrees temperature differential between moments of the shot. So it started with 91, gone up to 108, and it dropped back to 89. This is the major problem with the Gaggia Classic out of the box. I will try to make some more videos on it. I will try to experiment with obviously I will try to make conventional shots where you put, let's say, 18 grams in or 17 grams in, and making a normal double shot like 36 grams out in 27-28 seconds. I will tune in for that, and I will try to find a solution. I will try to find out when is it the best to start the machine by the means of stock machine without a PID, to keep the temperature limit, top and bottom limits as close together, so to close this gap, to close this scissor. But yeah, more videos on that, stay tuned. I also have already uploaded a conventional PID video which shows exactly the same but with the actual PID function in charge for the temperature, and there is also another one with the BoostBox. So this actual unit PID circle, which is slightly different to the normal PIDs available on the market, and this also allows you to do temperature surfing while you are pulling a shot. So that's again a different method of temperature management, and you can see those videos to track the differences between the temperature range you get in a shot. If you enjoyed this video, like such content, would prefer to see some more about the Gaggia Classics, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you!